Welcome to Winning with Personalization, how to stand out with differentiated services. My name is Zaid Ali and I'm a Senior Director of Product Marketing at Sandvine. Let's face it, not everyone can be like AT&T. And so what, you might say? I don't want to be like them anyway. And fair enough, I'm not suggesting you should either. After all, you own your own business, a solid clientele, and a network that represents you, your values, your services, helping communities giving back to what matters most. But when you look at big telcos, there's a feeling of being boundless when you think of their resources. They seem to have unlimited dollars to spend on infrastructure, unlimited dollars to spend on resources to manage the network, and they can leverage new AI and machine learning technologies to find out and predict new ways to upsell your customers. But I've got news for you. They can't sustain this. They may think they can by finding ways to hike up ARPU and find other services, but their world is closing in on them for a few reasons, like new behaviors on the internet due to new applications. The vast majority of the internet is now encrypted, and the amazing advancement of applications that have become completely complex. Just over the last 10 years, we've seen a tremendous amount of growth, mainly due to video. This has shaped our behaviors in many different ways. What we then started to see is that data privacy became even more important, as most OTT vendors like Facebook, Netflix, YouTube started to get more sophisticated with their encryption. And then, to top it all off, the entire world changed with COVID. And we can argue that this was a huge accelerator in shifting the way your customers use the internet. And as we look towards the future, this will only get more complex with new creative ways to use the internet with IoT, AR, VR, and with new heavy demands for usage. So today we're connected, and our family kind of looks like this. Our digital footprint is all over the internet. We're essentially made up of apps. But encryption is ruling the world. And some of the major companies, who, by the way, make up the majority of the internet, have all implemented encryption protocols. Companies are using IETF Quick or Google Quick, and different versions of TLS have emerged. And as you can see year over year, that TLS 1.3 has gained popularity from 2019 to 2023. But the most shocking statistic in this graph is that the unencrypted traffic has dramatically gone down from 37% to 9%. So more than 90% of the world's traffic is already now encrypted. And applications are becoming more sophisticated with each flow that is embedded or multiplexed into a stream. And with each flow comes a distinct set of expectations. Take, for example, this Zoom call that you see. When you're having a meeting, many of us will log in with just audio and some already on video. Then the meeting will start, and somewhere in the middle, other video sessions will start along with the screen share. And then in some other cases, information will be shared and file delivery will be activated. And the whole time, audio is expected to be crisp and clean while multiple people are participating. This is basically telling us that apps like this are no longer pure play. Look at applications like Hulu. You have all kinds of video, on demand, live streaming, and so on. I mean, applications like Netflix have all of this and have introduced gaming as well. And with all of these microservices in these applications, you end up having different network requirements that all have to work in a different way. Not just throughput, but advanced jitter measurements, activity levels, and the ability to recognize what is time sensitive. And so not even 5 years ago, the only thing you as a telco had to manage was simply managing the network. But post-COVID, with all the changes that have occurred and will occur, you now need to manage the experience. But this is what you actually see. Almost nothing. So why does this matter? Well, your ability to fix the network now gets slower and slower. You can't even pinpoint where the problems are occurring. Is it happening at the customer prem? Is it a device? Has the application server gone down? Is a problem at the network core? Are you responsible to fix this? And so on. And your decision making gets dwindled down to automatic infrastructure purchases based on archaic bandwidth measurements. Meaning you've essentially created a virtual subscription model with your packet core vendors and blindly paying them whether you need to or not. And this, unfortunately, is happening everywhere. So how do you compete? Well, you might be smaller than the big telco, but being smaller has its advantages. You are more agile and have the ability to innovate, and quite frankly need to double down and stick to what makes you successful. And that's rolling out the red carpet for your customers now more than ever, and concentrating on being the best or providing the best services, such as the best network service, the best customer service, the best upsell service, and the best personalization service. But wait, you might be asking, didn't you just say that the internet is almost all encrypted and that you won't be able to see what's going on, meaning you can't improve what you can't see? And yes, that holds true for many of your departments. For example, planning groups need to make sure that they have a controlled investment strategy. But they are stuck making broad brush decisions based on average bandwidth measurements that speak nothing to the customer's experience. Similarly, network operations struggle even more these days with getting to a resolution quicker. Actually, even pinpointing issues to know where to prioritize. This also happens with customer care groups who end up deploying field services unnecessarily. And the marketing and security teams struggle with a lack of info to help generate new revenue opportunities or proactively keep their customers safe. So all of these groups struggle. So there needs to be a shift. We like to call it moving from bandwidth-centric decision-making to experience-centric decision-making. And as we saw in the last slide, all departments need to take a shift to an experience-centric decision-making model. Instead of bandwidth-based decisions, they need to invest based on your customer's experience. They need to move from limited performance measurements and have more application-based data to truly see what's happening on their network. They can defer a lot of their investments with the right optimization and congestion management strategies. Customer care teams can stop blindly sending truck rolls and have more data at their disposal to prioritize their actions. And instead of generic plans, especially where you want to keep the stickiness of your customers, moving to an experience-centric model can open doors to having personalized plans. And finally, instead of having slower responses to security issues, you can, in many cases, positively impact security altogether. And Sandvine can help. You don't have to overinvest and compete with the big telco. In fact, we can help you accelerate this shift and get you to an experience-centric decision-making model almost overnight. Sandvine's been around for more than 24 years. With this heritage and pedigree, we've been servicing over 1,000 customers in 100 countries with over 250 service providers worldwide. We made a name for ourselves as a world-class research company with our annual publication of the Global Internet Phenomenon Report, or GIPR. We claim to the industry that we are the pioneer in application quality of experience, or AppQoE. We measure application performance and have now made it the closest correlation to customer experience that the industry has ever seen. There are two major components that help with this shift that Sandvine brings to the table, and it's all around giving you the best data. And the data that we bring is around truly understanding exactly what is happening on your network or customer behavior data, and how your customers feel about your network or customer sentiment data. From a customer behavior perspective, what we do better than anyone in the industry is that we classify. And we can classify more than 95% of the applications in your network. No one in the industry does this better. In fact, second place is barely at 60% classification. But we don't only tell you that we're classifying Instagram or YouTube. We can categorize these applications into groups that help you derive better trends. And what we do that is solely unique to Sandvine is that we can classify something that we call content type. For example, look at Facebook. It comprises of chat, videos, live streaming, audio calls, and so on. Each of these microservices have their own network requirements, and we're the only one who can do that. That's why the Zoom example I showed previously requires content type classification. Up until now, it was extremely difficult to take traditional network measurements and correlate it with application behaviors, but we've managed to do that. We not only measure throughput, latency, and packet loss, we've introduced other metrics such as jitter, interpacket arrival times, activity in and out to truly derive customer behavior and create a foundation for customer sentiment information. Again, we are the only ones who do this, especially since most of the traffic is encrypted and moved away from TCP to UDP traffic. In other words, others have given up because they can't keep track of these changes. So once you're able to find very granular metrics at the application content level, you can score each and every individual application and content type, like Facebook live streaming, for example, and give it a score. Then we can match it with context like a device, a location, a set of flows, or an individual. And when you get this by an individual, you can now score their feeling about your network, which is truly showing customer sentiment. And this is what we call AppQoE. We are the world's first true real-time depiction of customer behavior and satisfaction, an experience-centric point of view based on the performance of the applications that your customers use. So let's talk a little bit about how this fast tracks your business by unlocking opportunities for any one of your departments. Just by looking at app usage and app growth trends, you can give planning groups better investment guidance. By gaining app performance and congestion information, you can help engineering and optimization groups create CapEx deferral savings. By looking at app outliers and other app issues, you can gain better operation efficiencies. And by looking at trends and correlating with churn behaviors, you can help customer care with their prioritization and retention efforts. And we can help marketing and product groups with even more segmentation to make personalization a true reality. So in summary, all of your departments can gain, and you don't have to add unnecessary investments because we do all of the heavy lifting for you. So leapfrog big telcos and equip yourself with a turnkey experience-centric shift. So let me take this opportunity to invite you to learn more about our solutions. My colleagues and I would be happy to give you a live demo of our solutions, and we can discuss the next steps. Thank you for taking the time. Take care.